Mến chào các bạn, mình là Thủy Lê, huấn luyện viên cuộc sống của Học viện Proctor, người sẽ giúp các bạn chuyển hóa cuộc đời của mình từ bên trong, nơi chứa đựng sức mạnh, tiềm năng và các công cụ sáng tạo phi thường, giúp bạn kiến tạo cuộc đời bạn thực sự muốn trải nghiệm tại đây và ngay bây giờ.
Mentors, great mentors. You know, great mentors are totally interested in helping the mentee expand their mind. That's what their whole world is about. You see, these mentors have developed the unique ability to transfer to the serious student the wisdom they learned, which was responsible for their own great success. Their life's mission is to pass it on. Mikey and I were discussing this, and she asked me if I would pass along to you some of the great lessons I've learned. So I've dug out some old pictures, and I'm going to share them with you. I want to talk to you about my great mentors, because I believe there's lessons here that you can learn and you can benefit from just as I have. See, these lessons are, you could say they're generic in many respects, but it's how I took the lessons that they gave me and went from losing in a very big way for most of my life to success that has gone beyond the scope of my imagination. It all started with a man named Raymond Stanford. Now, I apologize for the picture. It's the only one I had, and I even had to crop that out of a snapshot of a half a dozen of us. But Ray, he was a unique guy. He was able to get me to believe that I could succeed. See, the idea of success, it always belonged to someone else, never belonged to me. But he got me to believe that I could succeed, that I could be happy and healthy and wealthy. Now, I don't think I was really that sick, but I got a lot of colds and headaches and everything. He said, there's no need of that. He said, it's your body, Bob. You're making your head ache. You can make it well. Ray impressed me. He impressed upon my mind the absolute necessity of learning from the best. He said, Bob, everybody's got opinions. They've got a flock of them, and they'll give them to you. They won't cost you a dime. Then you know what they're worth. But he said, if you really want to win in a very big way, you're a young guy, you got your whole life in front of you, you want to go to the very best when it comes to success and fulfillment in life. Then he began to share a story with me about an old Scotsman by the name of Andrew Carnegie. Now, I had never heard of Andrew Carnegie, but Carnegie came from Scotland to America when he was just a very young boy. He had nothing, but he became the wealthiest man in the world. So far as we know, he was the first billionaire. And he was friends with Henry Ford, with Harvey Firestone, you know, the President of the United States, the real heavyweights, I guess if you're the wealthiest person in the world, you would be. And in his own thoughts, he thought it was a shame that people like himself, like Henry Ford and Edison, when they passed on, that they would go to their grave with all of this tremendous information locked up within them. There was no organized laws of achievement that they could pass on. Now, at the same time he was entertaining these thoughts, Ray explained that there was a young reporter by the name of Napoleon Hill, worked for a local magazine, and he got a 3-hour interview with Carnegie. You know, I've thought about this many times. He must have been one nervous young guy. Here's a guy in his early 20s going to go and sit down for 3 hours with the wealthiest man in the world. Well, at the end of the 3 hours, Carnegie said, Napoleon, this interview isn't ending. As a matter of fact, it's just beginning. And he took him home, and he spent 3 days with him, sharing his philosophy of achievement and how he had accomplished what he had accomplished. And Hill said later on that he could take almost everything he learned, and the essence of it was captured in a statement. Carnegie said, any idea that is held in the mind, any idea that's held in the mind, that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. Now, what he was really teaching him is that all life comes from the non-physical. It starts in our mind, and we create the world that we live in. And at the end of the 3 days, he said, now, Napoleon, he said, you've learned a lot over the past 3 days. He said, I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want a yes or no answer. He said, I believe all this philosophy should be organized so that it can be passed on to other people. He said, would you spend the rest of your life, dedicate the rest of your life to an idea for which you would probably receive no material compensation for at least 20 years? I would like to commission you to write the laws of achievement. I will give you letters of introduction. And Hill became friends with some of the greatest individuals in the world. Now, unbeknownst to Hill at that time, Carnegie had a stopwatch under his desk. He gave him 60 seconds to answer the question. 1 minute. In 29 seconds, Hill said he'd do it. Hill later said he was 31 seconds away from missing one of the greatest opportunities that ever come down the road. And then he said, now, Napoleon, you're going to have problems. You're going to have lots of problems. And he said, everything in you is going to tell you to quit. He says, because that's the easiest thing in the world to do for weaklings. But he said, I don't think you're a weakling. But he said, you're going to need something to help you. So he said, I'm going to give you a statement, and I want you to repeat this statement. I want you to read it to yourself, looking in the mirror, every morning and every night. Now, he said, I'm going to give it to you. I want you to write it down. So he said, I want you to underline each word, Napoleon. And this is what he said, I want you to write. Now, he said, you're talking to yourself. He said, it's you doing the talking. I want you to write, Andrew Carnegie, I am not only going to equal your achievements in life, but I'm going to challenge you at the post and pass you at the grandstand. Well, Hill threw the pencil on the floor, and he said, now, you know darn well that can't happen. No, he said, I know it won't happen unless and until you fix that idea in your mind. No, I said, Napoleon, I want you to make a commitment to me that you will read this every morning and every night for 30 days. He said, you can do anything for 30 days. So Hill thought, well, okay, I'll do it. Now, he pointed out later on, he said the first time he did it, his brother was in the house, so he went to the bathroom and locked the door. He didn't want to appear to be foolish, and he whispered it in the mirror. Andrew Carnegie, I am not only going to equal your achievements in life, I'm going to challenge you at the post and pass you at the grandstand. Well, you know, he said by the middle of the first month, he started to think maybe this could happen. By the end of the month, he knew it was going to happen. Now, it's reported that Andrew Carnegie created 53 millionaires in his life. Napoleon Hill has created millions of millionaires. You see, it did work. He fixed it in his mind. Well, Ray said you've got to study his work. Now, Hill had spent his whole life studying, and then he put it in a book, The Laws of Achievement. He captured out of the Laws of Achievement, Think and Grow Rich, and I began to study it. And Ray said to me, I want you to do exactly what I tell you and do exactly what you perceive Napoleon Hill to tell you. And so I decided I would. Now, I was earning $4,000 a year. A year later, I was earning $175. See, Napoleon Hill taught me the laws that govern the lives of 500 of the world's most successful individuals. So you could say Ray was my first mentor. Napoleon Hill was my second.